And Elise over for Fnatic. The second ban out here was Caitlyn, aimed straight at Rekkles.
So they actually take away the Caitlyn. Rekkles has been falling back to this one a few times. Actually, in two of the losses, I think he played the Caitlyn. So taking that away, it means that they respect his laning, or the Fnatic bot lane's laning phase, and they want to maybe force him onto a Jinx and then try and shut him down that way, even though we have seen him play Jinx before with great success.
And the second ban here for Fnatic was actually Kassadin. We all remember Fnatic versus SK at Intel Extreme Matters Katowice, famous backdoor with Kassadin. Generally, he's not going to be let through for anyone, and Fnatic don't want to risk that here. Zig's taken away by SK, a champion which Jesiz is fine to play on, but that will be taken away from this one. Final ban now coming for Fnatic.
This means, though, we have the Gragas open, we have Renekton open so far, there's still one ban left. We have pretty much all the junglers except for Elise. Now the kill was taken away, it means only Elise is gone jungle-wise. We have Lee Sin, we have Wukong, Pantheon, everything we've seen, and also the fresh support. Once again, we keep touching about this. You take the fresh and you ban away the Annie, so you force the other team to either go Leona or something else, and Fresh versus Leona, it's a good matchup for Fresh.
Nice pick up there for SK Gaming here. Not wasting any time getting that one actually locked in, so already had that plan in mind. Question now is, what do Fnatic take away? As you mentioned, the likes of Renekton still on the table. We've been seeing, as I said, sOAZ going for this double AP comp, or Fnatic going for the double AP. We'll see if they go for something similar here today.
And the Lulu pickup, YellOwStaR plays it, and I haven't actually seen Peke play it yet. He could potentially be taking mid lane. And then also we have the Lucian open. If Rekkles really don't want to fall back on the Jinx, Lucian is an option. Sivir is still open. They can do a combo with that. Sivir Olaf, we have seen it from Fnatic before. So there's quite a lot of options for them. And if they do not take the Jinx, I feel like SK's plan of banning away the Caitlyn has maybe gone a little bit wrong.
Well, we see Lulu Wukong here for Fnatic. Can't rule out that Lulu being a support Lulu or a mid lane Lulu up until now, but one thing for sure, those two champions have great synergy. You've got double ultimate knockup from both of them. Yeah,
you pretty much have double CC on it. You can also speed up the Wukong once he goes into stealth, so he can like close a better distance, and he can get in the face of the, or get into the backline, pop his ultimate, and then Lulu, if Wukong should drop low, pop her ultimate, and you have like the double CC, and you have a very hard to kill Wukong spinning right in your face.
Double knockups and Yasuo not banned. Possibility there maybe for Fnatic later. Well, SK's picks coming in here. We are going to see Vayne locked in as well as Vi. Candy Panda being quite open in saying that Vayne is a champion that he'll fall back to if he wants guaranteed results.
And this explains the Caitlyn ban, because Caitlyn is very hard to deal with for Vayne in lane due to the range difference. So banning that one away, taking the Vayne now, he's confident he can beat Lucian, Jinx, Sivir, whatever Rekkles is going to pick, maybe even a Varus. He's confident enough he can get the farm he needs and get into the late game point where Vayne is so strong. The Vi pickup for Svenskeren, it's good. It's all around a great pick, and once you get to late game again or the team fights, your ultimate can single out a target and you can simply burst it down.
So what will Fnatic add in now to that Lulu Wukong? And maybe even more interestingly, is that a mid lane Lulu for Peke, or will that fall to the hands of YellOwStaR? And it looks like it will be a support there, because Peke going in for that LeBlanc. Again, a champion which we've said you have to be careful on. You know, players that love this assassin type, that love to catch people out, Peke one of them. You always have to be careful if you give that over to him.
Yeah, you always have to be careful, because if he gets ahead early, gets an early DFG, he can start roaming around the map and just punish people everywhere. We've seen it so many times happen so far in the LCS, also in NA. The Lucian pick, it was a bit like we talked about. Caitlyn was gone, he doesn't want to play the Jinx, he has to fall back on the Lucian now. Fine enough versus Vayne, it will beat Vayne in the lane, but not at the same time, or like in the same way that Caitlyn would. I like the fact it's Lulu support though, because it's a very heavy poke lane from Fnatic here. It's very good versus the short range from Vayne. They can constantly harass her if she goes for CS, and at the same time they can push the lane early, get an early lead, and then you maybe shove them into the turret.
So Jesiz going to get his hands on Orianna here, and it will actually be the Troll coming down for Freddy. 1-2-2, and a Rumble locked in there at the end from Fnatic.
Alright, so instantly locking in the Rumble versus Trundle. This simply means for sOAZ, he believes that he can free farm versus this Trundle. He believes that Trundle can really get to him. He has its shield to like speed him up. He can slow Trundle if he moves to him, and therefore farm enough and get into the teamfight scenario. Notice how Fnatic here, if they can manage to land a combo with Wukong ultimate, Lulu ultimate, and then have the Rumble ultimate hitting onto the people being knocked up, that is a lot of damage, and a lot of people will drop low, so Peke can come in from the side and pick up the kills he needs. On the other side with SK, picking up Orianna versus LeBlanc, it's a very smart pick. You can get a few early ranks in your shield, you can go for the earlier fiends, and you have the magic resist and shield you need to survive LeBlanc burst and just farm and harass her as much as possible. Trundle pickup, I think it was more or less just a safe, because it was the blind pick, he didn't know what he was going against, so it's just for him the safe pick. Bit surprised he didn't go for Renekton though.
So what about the two comps in this one? Because we've seen time and time again an Orianna, brilliant if you can hit the shockwaves in the right place. On the other side, you've also got a combo that has to be pulled off, you know, very teamwork-centric combo there to get everything in the right place at the right time.
The thing with the SK combo just hit me with the Trundle pick is the fact that whoever runs into the face of Candy Panda can get the ultimate from Trundle, lose a lot of the stats, and then Candy Panda can pick up a fairly easy and fast kill. So they're more or less running a, we want to protect our Vayne as much as possible, and the way we do that is by having the pillar, we have the Orianna ultimate, we have the Wukong one to knock up people around, and just let Candy Panda stay in the back and hammer away as much as possible. If SK can manage to do this properly in the fights, I actually see Candy Panda having a big game.
Well, as we get this match underway, let's see who you guys at home predicted to win. According to LOLesports.com, 89% of you picked Fnatic for the win. Wow.
Wow. Well, they have lost 3 games in a row, but if they have to bounce back, this is the game for them. They've now lost to United, Rocket, Gambit, and Alliance, so SK Gaming is the team they need to be to really show that Fnatic is still this top team.
Well, here we go then. We're getting into game. It's a Classico SK versus Fnatic here. As we've said time and time again, Fnatic with a perfect start to the season that they lost track of, losing their previous 3 games coming into this one. If there's a classic one to bounce back with, it probably would be a win over SK Gaming, but we'll find out about that one right now. Both teams getting settled into early positions, pretty standard by the looks of it from level 1.
The only difference I see from normal is the fact that xPeke is starting with a sweeping lens, simply to be able to roam around on the map whenever needed, or to remove the ward that Jesiz is going to throw down, so Cyanide can come in, get an early kill for xPeke, and get him snowballing that way. So it works kind of both ways.
So let's see then where those wards start to come down here in the next few moments. We see that Freddy and Svenskeren actually waited in, and SK have traditionally been putting a ward inside. In fact, most teams have been putting a ward in that one. We've seen so many of them put down and then cleared straight out by the opposition. Obviously, SK don't have that luxury at this point. They have no sweeping lens on their side. So we'll see who will almost get the first blow of the game, if you like, once that comes in. nRated just set up YellOwStaR into the death bush himself, and Jesiz is now moving on towards that bottom side. So it looks like we're going to be seeing some swapping in the lanes.
Yeah, so they want to go top. They want to try and shut down the Rumble by simply, 2v1ing him, denying him as much CS as possible early. Trundle is very good at 1v2 CSing under the turret. He has his Q to help him out, get the extra, damage he needs in the start to get the CS.
So a blue buff start for Svenskeren, and will have the help of his duo lane. Always nice to have that as they sort that one out. And we can see already that Fnatic going to be pushing and actually retaliating with this one, sending their AD carry and support into that top lane. Nicely worked out, and figuring that SK were going to do this swap, and it's the right call.
Yeah, they completely predicted the swap from SK. They want to have their dual lane versus this Vayne. They want to harass her as much as possible early and make sure she can get an easy early game and get the farm she needs.
And we can see that YellOwStaR already doing good amounts of damage here over on towards nRated, using Lulu to keep him at distance as Rekkles and Candy Panda here having a good exchange. And actually the Ignite goes down on towards nRated. That is very, very aggressive stuff from YellOwStaR. They want to really force him out early.
That's the thing. They really want to make sure that they can punish Candy Panda and nRated for picking a weak early lane and just constantly push them down, as we actually see a pause coming in.
Bit of a pause just to keep things up, and looks like it could be Svenskeren here again, who apparently has an issue with his sound now. That can sometimes happen to you. You figure out, oh, my mouse is having a few problems here, and then you forget, I might need sound as well. I should probably check that one out. But we got the guys working on that one, and hopefully Svenskeren will be able to get back underway. So with this lane swap coming in, with that very early aggression from Fnatic, I mean, it's an early stage to say, have they got an advantage from being able to predict that? Yeah,
I feel the fact they could predict it, get up there, and we have seen him already in the start, forcing the potion out of nRated and constantly harassing them. nRated, he's down to 30% HP. He can't help Candy Panda if something should happen. So just by the fact they predicted the lane swap and can now try and deny Vayne some CS so she's not getting this free 1v2 lane, is actually very smart, and it's a very big deal for Fnatic. I think I noticed though, if we look at Jesiz, he's not running barrier this time. Normally when you see the Orianna LeBlanc matchup, you have the barrier plus the shield from the Orianna to survive the burst. He's just going full man mode with Ignite, and he's actually, I think, looking to pick up some kills.
That's interesting. That's a very different Jesiz to what we are used to. I keep going back to it. The interview that he had at the end of week 2, I believe it was, where SK picked up a good couple of wins. He said, I was scared of making plays. I was scared of maybe being as aggressive as I should have been because I was just quite frankly too scared to do that in case I get the backlash, whether that's from my teammates, from the community, from everyone watching. That now I was scared to do anything really that was above my limits and think outside of the box almost. But if they let him have that freedom, if he feels comfortable now to do that, it could be scary.
And he doesn't have a reason to be scared at all, because he's been playing so stable. I haven't actually seen him have a completely bad game or doing bad moves. However, look here in the game again. The bot lane from SK hit a little too early, so now they can put some pressure on Fnatic. That is a huge deal for them.
Nicely done, and we'll see how much they can force Rekkles and YellOwStaR back from this one. We can see that YellOwStaR already trying to gain full control over that brush in the top side. Meanwhile, Cyanide doing his red buff, and we also saw, for a brief moment, Svenskeren already done his red down on the golems right now. So that actually leaves us with, with these lane swaps coming in from both sides of things, Cyanide headed up towards the top. This could be the first bit of action.
That's the thing, you want to help them punish Candy Panda for picking this Vayne. I'm not sure if he got actually spotted out, but he's backing out. Oh, there was a ping from SK. I think they spot him. And now in the bot lane.
Yeah, they're going down towards sOAZ. The pillar already going in. The flash actually won't be able to dodge the vault breaker, but Svenskeren, because he was then behind him in that position, couldn't follow through. It's a nice flash, but sOAZ now obviously doesn't have one for future ganks.
Yeah, the flash is gone, and the issue with Rumble is often that he pushes the lane if you want to farm with his Q. So it can be very hard for him. We see already the lane pushing towards Freddy. He might actually be zoned away from this if Svenskeren stays around or just shows.
See where Svenskeren goes. Right now he's headed back towards mid lane net with the Wraiths, and we can see that sOAZ just diving straight into that brush, keeping as much distance as he possibly can from the river. This mid lane, both of them up to level 4 right now, 22 to 25 CS, so sOAZ got a slight advantage with that one, but basically those minions going to even out unless they end up missing some of them, which I doubt at this point. Top lane, oh, actually good damage coming in there. Chain is actually going to go off, and there is a stun on towards Jesiz, but again, he should be feeling decently safe as long as he's that close to his turret, I think.
Yeah, as long as he's there, there's not really a chance for Peke to kill him. He also has the shield. Didn't use it here before to actually take some of the damage away. But oh, the hook on YellOwStaR.
Hook onto YellOwStaR, but I'm not sure they want to follow it up. The problem is that nRated again, that Candy Panda in this scenario had taken a bit of damage. Meanwhile, down, I'll stay at the top because Svenskeren's coming into that one. We also have Cyanide down in the bottom lane waiting for things, but Svenskeren going to come in from this one, and they've spotted him very, very late. There is a flash from YellOwStaR. Vault Breaker would have connected, and again, flashes down, but they're safe for now.
Yeah, flashes are down, and this is the early game aggression Svenskeren we like to see. He's been doing 2 ganks now, forcing 2 flashes. Once again, the lanes for Fnatic are shopping up, and it makes it very hard for them to move forward because they know Svenskeren could still be nearby. He did recall, but if he had stayed, he could try and set up another kill.
As I mentioned before, we did see Cyanide venturing down towards that bottom lane, I think just to maybe help out there, thinking that Svenskeren might come back in towards sOAZ's lane. Obviously, though, as he saw him top, decided to just recall and get back into the jungle.
Exactly. It's simply to say to sOAZ, you need to shove this lane out so you can actually get back and bar and reset the whole lane. So I'm here to help you if something should happen. And the second he spotted Svenskeren, he recalled, and sOAZ got to recall as well, bought his items, and he's now back in the lane.
Got himself an amp tome and boots in there, and those boots probably even more important now than they would be in the normal course of things, with his flash already being burnt thanks to that gank earlier on by Svenskeren, who is still hovering over that bottom side of the map. The problem with this mid lane, you'd love to kill Peke earlier on, but he's LeBlanc and he's not very easy to kill.
No, this seems to more be of a counter gank from Svenskeren if Cyanide should be coming in, because you can kill him as a level 4 Vi versus a LeBlanc. He can jump away fairly easy, and he also has his flash, and there's no CC bringing in for either Vi or the Orianna.
Yep, Cyanide was still waiting in there. Svenskeren has already backed away, gone back onto his Wraith camp, but that leaves Cyanide waiting in the brush on this top side. Orianna obviously going to be a little bit less safe there, but quite frankly does have flash available, also up to level 6 now, so Shockwave is there if he needs to use it even defensively. And
we have to touch on 2 things here so far for SK's early game. Freddy, he's more or less dominating sOAZ in the bot lane. Yes, he had to use the flash on the Svenskeren gank, but he's getting a 10 CS lead so far. He's pushing in the lane. Top lane wise, once Rekkles pick up all this, he's gonna be ahead in CS, but Panda is actually doing fairly well early game, and he's doing at least well enough for the matchup he's in. If he can get some of the items he need early, maybe an early play of the Rune King, he will be very scary to deal with.
Cyanide once again headed over the river, and is he going to go for a bit of counter jungling here? Does have himself a ward available, so maybe he just wants to get some vision down as deep as possible, and that's exactly what he'll do. Just as these blue buffs start to spawn back into the game, Jesiz, of course, going to be gifted that one by Svenskeren, and I'm imagining the same over the other side. Actually, Cyanide is pinging down by the red, and he's going to put a ward down in there as well, so he's got vision on the red, and the possibility of a steal.
Yeah, they really want to be aggressive here on Fnatic's side. xPeke has hit his level 7, so he has his ultimate, and he can do a lot of damage, and with the ward here, they're actually going to spot Svenskeren coming in. No, just walks away, get the big raise for Cyanide, he's happy with that.
Taking that away with his smite, which means it's probably not going to be up and available for him by the time that red buff for Svenskeren does come in, considering the fact that he'll have to go back home onto his side of the map for now at least, and be helping out with that blue buff there for xPeke.
And now one thing we need to keep an eye on in this game is how Cyanide is going to build the Wukong. He's pretty much the only tank option for Fnatic, because obviously the Rumble, he will go for an early the Andres and then into maybe a Rylite, so he's not going to be too tanky. He's pretty much only Cyanide. If he goes full damage, Fnatic is just going for an all-in combo.
And we can see already that the Spectre's cowl has come down for Freddy122, so he's already basically going to be mitigating most of sOAZ's damage at this early stage of the game. There is that blue buff finally given over towards xPeke. He's now at level 7 as well, and he's leading quite nicely in the CS, 77 to 65 in this mid lane against Jesiz.
Yeah, he's having a lot of pressure, and he's actually been pushing down the Orianna pretty much the entire game. That's also why Cyanide could walk into the jungle of SK, put down the deep wards, because he knew that xPeke was nearby if something should happen, and he could easily move there.
There is that sweeping lens used by xPeke on the top side of things, so he knows, and great timing for him as well, clearing that one out. It means that Cyanide, after doing red could come in, he's going to go to Jesiz. Not a full combo there, just trying to get the harassment in and force Jesiz to be as low as possible for a possible Cyanide encounter. Just as I say that, he actually starts to recall, but in the top lane, Vi is there as well, but they're pinging directly on top of it.
Yeah, they're pinging him out, they don't want to risk anything, and they know, they expect him to actually come here. He's going to try and sneak around. If he can get the lantern from nRated. Oh, Freddy going on sOAZ and bot though. Backs away.
Yeah, he uses his ultimate there, which obviously going to give him a lot of that HP back and steal some of those stats from sOAZ. And as sOAZ comes diving back in there. Interesting to see how this one really develops, because obviously no kills coming in just yet. sOAZ's flash is now available. The teleport on Freddy, which is not something that we really touched on before, so his kill potential there drops even further with taking that rather than Ignite, but it means that he can also be elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, and it means also late game he can focus more on pushing the lanes up, while the rest of the SK is somewhere else on the map, and he can then teleport in if needed. So it's early game aggression you lose by not having Ignite, but by having teleport late game you have a lot more map pressure.
You see already the Haunting guys in for sOAZ, so he's going to be starting to do a bit more damage. You're going to see the Assault and Battery coming in here on towards xPeke. There is the Cyclone coming out, and they're going to focus on towards Svenskeren. Have they got the damage? Yes, they do. First blood xPeke, brilliantly done.
And Cyanide, he managed to come in from the side. He was completely unspotted by SK, and he just went in, and he managed to get the kill here on xPeke, who's already having some early magic damage. He's gonna have a DFG very soon. If they can pick up this dragon, which they should be able to, fairly uncontested, also due to sOAZ shoving out the bot lane with his ultimate.
Yeah, and the fact is the duo's up in the top lane, so that's one man extra that they're gonna have over them. Interesting statistic coming in there. Fnatic's average first blood time around about the 5-minute mark. Oh, xPeke catching Jesiz out here. The shield coming out in the last second, but xPeke feeling very confident. They're gonna take down that dragon, and that is a Fnatic that's looking very confident, almost a different Fnatic to what we saw last week.
Yeah, so much early aggression, and this is the LeBlanc who's been banned away a few times versus xPeke. He's showing why. He's pretty much dominating his lane, and due to the first blood he got now, once he picks up the DFG, I expect to see him constantly roam around the map and try and set up kills.
Now, YellOwStaR and nRated just having a bit of a face-off there by the bush. Both of them just getting wards down from that to make sure that they've keeping up on that vision. So 1,400 gold lead that they currently have, and you mentioned the DFG as well, by the way. I just want to mention that because xPeke has now finished that one off, which means that if Jesiz was having a couple of tough times with him before, it's only going to be getting worse now.
Yeah, this is a 11-minute DFG. Nobody here has the magic resist to survive. Maybe Freddy, who's picked up the Spirit Visage, but the rest of the team from SK have no chance of surviving the burst now from xPeke.
And he's headed down. Sweeping lens being pulled out once again, and that will get rid of the ward from the Death Brush. Okay, gets one down of his own there. So he's got good vision control on the bottom side. Actually, even on the top side of his jungle, he's fairly safe from Svenskeren at this point.
Yeah, he's fairly safe. You know, he has his jumps as well. And one thing we have to touch on, we talked about how Freddy was winning the lane before. sOAZ actually catched up. He's now even or slightly ahead in CS, and he picked up some very early magic penetration to try and shut down the Spirit Visage here from Freddy.
See how that one works out. They continue to go head to head, and we can see the YellOwStaR here with that ancient coin coming in. Panda going low, has to use a barrier, but here comes Svenskeren as well. Cyanide now coming in from the side. There's the ultimate coming out. Svenskeren goes down. Rekkles picks that one up, and nRated had to flash. That's a good play, but is he going to get him away from it? Cyanide putting down lots of damage to double kill. Max range there, and now xPeke comes in. Panda's dead. What a whitewash fight for Fnatic.
And credit to Cyanide again. He's there for the counter gank. He's predicting every move Svenskeren is making on the map. And whenever Svenskeren goes in, Cyanide comes in with his ultimate, pops it, and gets the kill on Svenskeren and more. Fnatic is just dominating right now.
And a blue buff as well. Like, they literally got everything that they could have possibly got on that top side of the map there. Well, without the turret, but that may well just go down. In fact, I say may well, it will go down with Cyanide now joining in. There's no way that one is going to survive. First turret goes over to Fnatic, and look at how the gold has jumped just from that little encounter there. It's now 4,000 almost the difference.
And look who's having the kills from Fnatic. Your AD carry and your AP carry both have 2 kills. Everyone has the dragon, they have the turret. Everything for Fnatic is going pretty much perfect. And again, we gotta give credit to the Cyanide. We said beforehand he didn't have really the impact needed in early game. This time around he's been so important.
Being in the right place at the right time. I think that's a very important one from this one. And xPeke going in towards Svenskeren there. He is out of mana here. I'm not sure he'll get away. There's a shockwave from Jesiz. And he takes out. That was a little bit overconfident for me. It looked like xPeke didn't realize how low he was on mana.
Yeah, exactly. I actually don't think he noticed his mana before he went in. And he realized, oh, I can't even do my combo. I don't have enough damage. And now I'm dead.
Now he's dead, and now the turret's dead in that top lane as well. Nice little comeback play from SK there, giving the kill over on towards Jesiz, who we saw his shockwave not doing masses of damage at this point, but going in for that Athene's early on will probably always give you that one anyway. Meanwhile, sOAZ comes back into lane. He has now fallen again a little bit behind Freddy, but he's got a wave to work with. Oh, they're going to hook Rekkles. He's caught completely out, stunned against the wall. nRated picks up the kill. Could have done with that going over to Panda, but a kill's a kill.
But mind games by SK here. Once they took down the turret, Panda took the lantern out. They walked completely out of vision from Fnatic side, and instead of recalling like most people, they walked around. Oh, Svenskeren going on YellOwStaR.
Yeah, going to catch YellOwStaR here as well. The hook didn't quite have the range though. YellOwStaR actually deciding to flash away from that one. That was again dangerous play by YellOwStaR, moving in to get that ward in position. SK looking like they're quite happy with how that one's gone from them, and they're going to be recalling back out of there. But you know, that kill going over on towards nRated, you'd want to have it on the Vayne, but it's still going to help nRated go further. He just picked up a Sidestone.
Yeah, he's getting a Sidestone now for some good early vision. Of course, you want to have it on the Vayne, but he's already picked up his own Play of the Rune King now. So he's actually getting strong. We're only at the 15-minute mark. He's starting to hit the point where he wants to, or he's able to 1v1 most people. Not xPeke though. He will die very fast for the burst.
And look at that gold I just mentioned after that those kills in the top lane with the turret as well. 4,000 gold pretty much was the difference. And that has now come all the way back to just 1,000 gold. So that just shows you what SK have managed to plow back from that one. Freddy and sOAZ in this bottom lane, they're at that point where they shouldn't really kill each other. Someone like Svenskeren could change that though.
He is spotted by a ward, and we also see Cyanide once again moving around. They want Svenskeren to go for this one. Panda and nRated is joining the fight. There are 3 people from Fnatic and 4 from SK. Svenskeren, will he go in?
He is gonna, no, not quite. Puts a pillar down. I thought he might be expecting to go in there with the assault and battery, but it looks like SK just want the turret. There is the equalizer actually going down, and nRated takes a lot of damage from that one. And actually, Fnatic might think about having a go from this. They have Cyanide there, who does have his ultimate available, but they don't have Lucian, they don't have LeBlanc. If one of them comes down, which actually he's doing right now, Rekkles, that could change it.
Yeah, Rekkles has been running all the way from the top lane down to the bottom lane. As soon as he spotted the people from SK, the use of ultimate from sOAZ before it cleared the wave, but it is gone now. So Rekkles is coming in, he needs to be able to wave clear this, and SK needs to be careful they don't get engaged on. And wise enough to back off.
Yeah, and we've got Dragon coming up here in less than 10 seconds as well. So SK actually in prime position from that one as they go in towards Freddy. He's going to get changed up. There's the ultimate coming out. There is a culling from the side as well. Wild Growth will save Freddy for now. They pick off the kill. There's in fact a double coming out from Jesiz. And Peke not safe at this point. They'll keep chasing in from him on that one. It's Jesiz that went after him. Peke did manage to get off, but SK are going to take themselves the second Dragon of the game. They now go ahead in gold.
And this was a wrong move by Fnatic. There was no Rumble ultimate on sOAZ, and also the guy that catched out was the Trundle, the tankiest member on SK. So the fact that Cyanide used his ultimate there, Peke used his burst without killing him, meant that once SK came in, they could pick up the kills that they need, and also pick up the Dragon. So now, SK are in the lead.
We talked about SK being behind in games, fighting back from behind, and honestly, when you see those 3 kills coming at top, the tower go, the blue buff taken away, it's quite easy, I think, to lose faith in a team at that point. But SK have shown that, you know, okay, we lost out big time there, but it was just a minor glitch. We can pull these kills off, we can get the next Dragon, we can bring the turrets back. Now they find themselves in the lead. And
we have to remember, though, that Dragon gives less gold in the early game, so snowballing is generally harder. And it made it for him. Oh, it's coming in from here.
Yeah, they actually, Candy Panda went in there to stun them back. Oh, it's a great lantern. Tumbles off towards it and gets away. And that's the beauty of the Thresh, you know. You think you've got him caught out there, but well, Lantern back to safety is all good. Fnatic might try and have this turret now, though.
They did get the flash on nRated. And also, well, sOAZ did use his ultimate, so he's going to recall now, return to the top lane and pick up the farm he can. Candy Panda, he's just waiting around here.
Hanging in. Will actually be spotted by a ward here, doing the golems, which I think Fnatic are fine about. They know where he is, and nRated, he's going to get caught out from this one. He's going to drop the box in position, which will slow them down, but Rekkles, he can burn off that slow anyway with his dash. Picks up a kill. Peke actually doing the raid seal, will spot Svenskeren. Has to flash away from it. That was interesting play again. A lot for Wraith for me.
But so again, a bit of weird play here from nRated. He stayed with the turret even though he was gonna die, and he was the only guy there. No flash because he has to use it before when sOAZ used the ultimate on him. So he more or less just stayed for no reason and just died for it, giving up another kill for Fnatic.
Now sOAZ taking a bit of pressure on that top lane from Freddy. Spirit Visage in there, and actually he's going to be going up towards that Tiamat here pretty soon, so going to be putting down a lot of pressure on pushing those waves very, very quickly. We'll see how sOAZ and the rest of Fnatic actually handle that one. I think the danger is there for Freddy is that the turret's not behind him in that top lane, wouldn't be behind him in the bottom lane either, so he needs to just watch out a little bit in terms of how far he pushes up the map if they don't have the vision.
He is the guy though who can do the split pushing. He's the tankiest member, and he got his Tiamat, so he can just constantly shove the waves in. He's going to go into the Hydra, and then he's actually going to get quite a lot of upfront damage if he catches onto a target. sOAZ on the other hand, he just want to farm, he want to get his items he needs, and then he want to go into the team fight. And this time, when Fnatic is going to fight, they want to have all the ultimates ready and not only hit the cyclone from Cyanide onto Trundle.
Let's take a look at some items now from this one as well. A 3-0 Jesiz, who looked like he was having a few problems in the earlier stage of the game. Now has that death cap complete. He's gone ahead in CS. They're going to take down that middle turret as well. So he's looking very, very good. We see the Brutalizer there for Vice. Svenskeren got a lot of damage of his own coming out. And the Tiamat, which I was talking about earlier, now finished off for Freddy.
Yeah, but basically what SK is doing now is they punish Fnatic every time they do, you know, a wrong rotation on the map. Sana this time, he went bot lane because he thought he could set something up. It left the mid lane open, Peke wasn't there to defend it, so SK quickly moved in with 3 people, took it, and that's just an easy free tower. And this is what you need to do to punish Fnatic. You need to make sure you set them behind, and SK, despite the bad early game, is doing such a good job at coming back.
So it's going to be interesting to see how Rekkles, you know, of all the AD carries, we touched on it in our news section at the start of the show, that the AD carries have almost no faith in themselves to be able to carry at this point. And Cyanide will save that thought because he's going in on towards Freddy. He's got sOAZ for company as well, but how much damage does Freddy take? Not really much. There's the pillar. Assault and Battery goes down on towards Cyanide as well. He's super squishy, and Svenskeren finishes him off. I'm not sure that sOAZ will be able to escape. There was a shockwave from the back. It's a double kill for Svenskeren on buy.
And once again, we see the fights going on, and this time around, Cyanide, he flashed with the Vi ultimate on him instead of waiting for, you know, his knock-up and then flashing away. It meant that Svenskeren could just follow him all the way around and get a lot of damage on him. And due to Freddy, who was actually having quite a lot of damage with this Tiamat early, they could win the 2v2 so easy against the Rumble and the Wukong.
And Fnatic, they seem a little bit without a plan right now. We saw them pushing up to the top lane, scared of losing that inner turret. And all SK have done is come back towards middle. YellOwStaR the only one there to defend. That is a turret for SK Gaming with no reply from Fnatic.
And Fnatic clearly doesn't like this, let's run everywhere on the map, everyone. Like, they need these more scheduled lanes where then xPeke can push out his lane and then roam around and do something, or Cyanide can try and set up a counter gank. This time around though, SK is just moving around the map all the time. They punish Fnatic every single time they have the chance. This time around they got the kills and then they took another mid turret from Fnatic.
Ravenous Hydra is done now for Freddy, and we talked about just finishing the tier line. He's like, well, you know, we got a couple of turrets after that, and kills came in as well. I can afford that at this point. We've got less than a minute to Dragon. This could be interesting, though. Candy Panda down on the bottom lane. He's not going to get away from xPeke here. Does some good damage, or is he actually using the barrier and the flash? Gets away from the Cologne. Wild Growth came down on towards xPeke there. That was pretty close stuff.
And that was a nice roam though by xPeke. And here we had the scenario where he was mid lane and he spotted someone in the bot lane from SK and he roamed down there, took the kill. It's a little bit too early. Candy Panda should be able to return for the Dragon and make a 5v5 scenario. He won't have his ultimate ready though, and xPeke will.
Rekkles actually trying to keep that bottom lane pushed up, but he's going to get caught out by Svenskeren, who's got a hell of a lot of damage at this point. Rekkles has got no mana, he can't escape that one, and while it was a good thing maybe to keep the lane that far up with the Dragon, you know, immediately spawning afterwards, he's got caught out there, but they've got no vision in the bottom side of the jungle. That can be expected when that's a situation.
Yeah, it's way too risky, especially against a Vi who can, you know, dash in and then pop an ultimate from a long distance, so it's completely overextended by Rekkles, and this might mean the Dragon is gone for Fnatic unless xPeke can get someone here.
Gonna go in towards Jesiz, but, well, didn't really commit to that one fully. Saved out on his DFG, didn't go through fully. So 2 out of 3 Dragons now in there for SK Gaming. They've got a 4,000 gold lead over Fnatic. I was going to say all the outer turrets. That's not quite true because the bottom lane still is intact, but you have to feel that probably isn't going to last too long. Freddy there in the top lane actually might get caught out if he's not careful. There are 2 main coming up. He's actually having a good chip away at sOAZ, but now with xPeke coming in, all the damage thrown as well. There's a full combo from xPeke. Freddy not dead, and actually almost killing sOAZ.
Almost getting him down. This shows how tanky and how strong Freddy is already. This is one defensive item, the Spirit Visage. Then he has the Hydra. xPeke actually messed up his combo there. He used all his damage and then he DFG afterwards. That's why he was almost taking down sOAZ, or Freddy almost took down sOAZ with him.
Close stuff as YellOwStaR gets another ward down on the bottom side of the map, and make sure that he's got vision of that tri-bush as well. Svenskeren is still hanging around, and Rekkles has been caught out in this bottom lane before. Needs to be a little bit wary of Candy Panda's positioning, especially with Svenskeren charging up, but wisely they back off.
This time though, they have a ward in the tri-bush here, so they can spot at least Svenskeren when he's coming somewhat close. If they can keep the lane and not overextend like before, they should be fairly safe. But notice xPeke right here. He's going towards this bot lane. This time around, they actually want Rekkles to overextend, and then when Svenskeren or Candy Panda is going for him, xPeke is there to take the kill.
Well, are they going to fall for it, though? That's the difference. nRated just went in there, got a ward in the tri-bush. xPeke still waiting, biding his time from that, but SK just not falling for that bait.
But look how smart Rekkles was actually playing it. Instead of just clearing the wave, he shoved it all the way up, so if someone was close by, xPeke would be able to spot them out and go for it. Very experienced play, though, by Candy Panda. He didn't take any chances, he just recalled as soon as he cleared his wave, and now he's returning down, and he's fairly safe.
Played it safe there. Actually, both AD carries got the Trinity Force in there. What do we think to that as a second item on Vayne?
Second item on Vayne, I haven't seen it too much. It gives some more upfront damage due to your sheen progging. Oh, we're going on Jesiz.
Okay, not going all in on him there, though. And Jesiz will live to fight another day. Meanwhile, Svenskeren and Freddy have come down to this mid lane, which actually means there's a 5 versus 4 in middle. Crucially, though, with Candy Panda down in the bottom lane, pushing that one out. That means that Fnatic are going to have to split off and stop him here, or they'll lose that turret.
Yeah, and that's actually what I like about this Trinity Force, because it gives him more dual power. Due to the fact he has his phage, it's going to speed him up. And also, again, the upfront damage he can do with the Sheen proc, it's going to give him the edge in the 1v1 scenarios, no matter who Fnatic is sending down there, unless he's called xPeke.
And we have a Banshee's Veil in there as well on Svenskeren, so he's going to avoid... Well, it depends what hits him, but it could be a lot of damage as Candy Panda goes in on towards sOAZ there. That's slow, not allowing him to really push further through. And xPeke again hunting for a bit of a kill as he gets that blue buff and comes down towards bottom. SK is setting up a similar trap though on the top side of the map here.
Oh, YellOwStaR.
Oh, this could be dangerous. He does throw the ward down. Oh, the speed that he put on himself saved his life there.
Yeah, nRated had just backed off a little bit once he actually came in there, so he wasn't in range for the hook, or he didn't spot him in time. But it's funny to see how both teams are playing this pick kind of style, just completely different sides of the map. And this time around, though, it might mean Fnatic is going to lose another turret up top.
Well, they're pushing in there. We see the recall from sOAZ on that top side of the map, and we see xPeke also going to be going back. No, they've come off that one. Candy Panda, though.
He's too smart.
Yeah, he's smart right now. There's no doubt about that one. Just sitting there in lane, and he sees sOAZ coming out, and that's the kind of thing that'll keep him playing smart like that. When he sees, okay, I'm not sure if someone's there, and then sOAZ all of a sudden comes out the bush, that just confirms his fears, and he's not going to do it.
Basically, what SK is doing is they keep an eye, or they keep calling whenever they haven't spotted Peke. So if they're saying we haven't seen him up top lane, we haven't seen him for the last minute, Candy Panda knows there's a chance that Peke is standing in the bot lane. So that's why he's not moving forward. Even if Peke were there or not, as long as they don't see him on the map, we won't see Candy Panda move forward.
I want to know now how strong SK are going to be at closing out games, because we've seen that they've played from behind quite a lot in some of their wins as well, even played from behind where they've been able to come back. But how are they going to do this one? How are they going to play this out against a team who's so very experienced in situations like this?
A very risky thing, and first thing to it, is the fact that Cyanide actually has been going pretty much full damage so far. He's going to complete his Black Cleaver very soon, so he's going to shred the armor of everyone he's hitting with his ultimate. But he's very squishy. If he goes into this fight and he don't manage to burst down Candy Panda or Jesiz, I actually feel Fnatic is in a very bad situation, because there's going to be a very tanky Trundle. We saw him before up top lane in the 1v3 or 1v2 scenario, how long it actually took them to kill him. So Fnatic, they're playing a risky teamfight style.
Well, Candy Panda going down onto the bottom lane. Actually, sOAZ going to throw his ultimate in. There is the barrier. A good slow, but sOAZ is not escaping this one. Candy Panda flashes in there. 1v1 kill. Says thank you very much. Lulu's coming down, but Svenskeren's already there to stop them coming around the back. And that's Candy Panda taking a turret, a kill, and getting out.
And he got everything he wanted there. The ultimate from Rumble, he simply just tumbled out of it, and then he went straight for sOAZ. He took down the turret. I'm not sure if sOAZ expected the turret to survive a little bit longer, so he had the help from that one in the fight. All in all, though, more or less just a free kill for Candy Panda and a turret, and it just signals even more issues for Fnatic. Look at the damage on Freddy, but barely noticing it.
Yeah, and doing good damage back there on towards xPeke as well. And that's perfect timing, almost perfect timing. 15 seconds until the next Dragon of the game. Obviously, progressively being worth more and more money right now. 6,000 gold is the lead that SK Gaming have. We're about to hit the 30-minute mark of the game, and SK are setting, or looking to set something up here. Freddy's actually on top of one, will get down the pillar in there, but I'm not sure that they're going to be able to catch on towards Peke. But if they come for this fight, I'm not sure that Fnatic have the power.
They don't have to fight for this one. If they can go for the mid turret instead, they can trade them 1-for-1. Oh, they're going in.
Oh, they're kind of half and half right now. Not really going for the turret, not really going towards Dragon, and Svenskeren dives right on the top of them. There's the pillar going in. Will SK try and follow this one up? They're all bunched up, which Jesiz, I'm sure he's licking his lips at the thought of that one, of getting good 4-5-man shockwave off as he gets burst down there from Peke, but not totally finished off. There's the equalizer. Freddy going to the front. This shockwave only catches YellOwStaR, who wild growths himself. Peke going low. sOAZ is low on the top side as well, and they will surely be able to catch one of them. Candy Panda goes too far. He goes down. Peke is still alive here, and actually SK just don't have the constant damage to finish these ones off.
No, but Candy Panda, he had everything. They keep fighting, though.
That was interesting. Peke went in. Svenskeren was waiting for it. Basically, just Vault Breaker right back in his face. And that will leave us with a 1-for-1, a very prolonged fight.
Alright, so we had the Rumble ultimate coming down. Cyanide, he went in with his Cyclone onto Jesiz, who was stuck in the Rumble ultimate. But due to him having Hourglass, they couldn't kill him. Candy Panda, you're gonna see right here. Notice Peke's position here up at the top. He's going for Candy Panda as soon as he spots him out. And he comes out of stealth right here. And he's gonna try and burst him down. It doesn't work for him, which means Candy Panda at this time, he actually has the chance now to clean up everything. So he's going too aggressive, as you're gonna see just in a few seconds. And Fnatic can turn on him. Look at Rekkles, popping so much damage on the Candy Panda and killing him. Had he stayed a little more passive, he would actually be able to finish off all these low targets for Fnatic. Instead, we see Peke being a little bit too aggressive once he's going in here. And very smart play by Svenskeren. Notice here how he jumps straight into the face. Boom, gets the kill.
Already charging up from that one. Interesting little fight from that. A close, drawn fight. But like you said, if Candy Panda had have not gone that maybe inch too far there, that could have been a different outcome. Actually, SK clearing out Baron at this point. I mean, we're 32 minutes almost into that game, so we're getting to that point where we're going to see some fights being forced there.
And it's actually a Baron that SK can take down fairly easy, just with Trundle, Vi, and the Vayne, and just keep Jesiz and nRated somewhere else to try and bait Fnatic not to go and check it, or maybe to keep them pressured away. Going back to the fight though, we really saw how squishy Fnatic is with the lineup they have. If they don't manage to get down an instant target, it's very hard for them later on, unless someone from SK overextends and they can then turn around and get the kill.
Because Freddy, we saw it even in that fight, although he did go low, they put a lot of work into getting him down. Got the Randuins, that Spirit Visage in there, and now we're going to see how well they can track him down. sOAZ and Rekkles going into him, and Freddy just doesn't care. Equalizer will actually force him to back away a little bit. The culling coming out, not getting the full burst of damage, but they will finish him off. Rekkles picks that one off, and Freddy maybe thinking he was a little bit tankier than he was. There's Wild Growth coming on towards Peke, who's looking for a chance over the side here, and he's going to find Svenskeren, but I don't think he's quite got the damage to finish him off. There's Command Protect. Peke not done just yet from this one. He's going to keep chasing. There is the chain going down, and he will be able to lock him up. The hook missing off to the side, and Peke continues to chase them away. Meanwhile, Panda has taken down the inner turret in the bottom lane.
He needs to be careful now though, because the rest of the Fnatic is trying to close in on him. I think Lulu and Peke will be able to catch him out down here,
if they choose the right path. YellOwStaR going off to the side. Peke is now in position to have him, but Panda got into the brush there. Is he going to be able to get away from things? Peke still off to the side, and honestly, Panda's just walked away from that one. He's pulled the entire team of Fnatic down there. And SK going straight to Baron. What a move.
Teleport coming in from Freddy. They will get this Baron. There's no vision from Fnatic. The entire team moved for Panda, and they didn't even manage to pick him up because he got into the bush, and the rest, they didn't want to follow it, and nobody even thought about the Baron. SK, smart calling, straight away they just go there as soon as they noticed how many people from Fnatic were actually bot, and they just took a completely free Baron.
Very, very smart play by SK Gaming, and now they're approaching that 10,000 gold lead. We'll just see how they do with this Baron buff on there. We can see there's a lot of gold to be spent across the board. 1,400 for Jesiz, 1,800 for Panda on Vayne in there as well.
And we see the Banshees being picked up by Panda, meaning Peke won't be able to burst him down alone. They need someone to pop the Banshees, and they probably need either Cyanide or the ultimate from sOAZ to also hit on to Panda so they can try and kill him. We saw the team fight we had in mid before, how Peke's burst wasn't enough to get him down through the barrier, and due to the Blade Rune King heal as well, Panda could stay alive. So the next team fight for Fnatic has to be more or less perfect. They have to hit the back line and instant kill someone. They need to kill Jesiz before he can Sonya's, or need to kill Panda before he can start dancing around.
All ifs and buts at this stage, which Fnatic up until now not really been able to prove us wrong or right either from the other side of it. We've got a minute till Dragon comes up as well, which SK have obviously been doing a great job of taking on their previous spawns, and Panda just going straight back down to the bottom lane, going to keep farming. Rekkles himself has done a great job with the farm. 347 he's up at right now, 5-2-0 with kills as well. But as we said, can they get through these defensive items that SK now have in there, which Fnatic just don't have?
Yeah, Fnatic don't have them. The most tanky member is Cyanide, who's picked up now his Warden's Flint. That's ready for going on Freddy again in top.
Yeah, Freddy getting caught out that last time, and it's going to be exactly the same scenario here for him. Peke's going to finish that one off, and, well, quite frankly, he's running a bit of interference there, trying to drag them all up. The rest of SK were in that mid lane, but now they realize they have to back away. Freddy didn't really do any damage to anyone, which means that by the time these pretty mobile champions that Fnatic have got come down there, they can't stick around and fight.
No, Freddy, he overextended quite a bit. He was waiting for Panda to shove off the bot lane, so both the side lanes could move up to the turret, at the same time, forcing Fnatic to not send more people up and kill Freddy, because they had to spread out and defend. He was a bit too fast up there, and that's why Fnatic could pick up a fairly easy kill and not lose anything anywhere else on the map.
So SK lying in wait right now. The Dragon is in fact live. Will Fnatic dare to push out? We still have Baron buff on all but Freddy here. Let's see how that one goes for him. Fnatic have Peke up in that top lane, and that means that Svenskeren going to head off towards the Dragon. Will probably just be able to finish this one off on his own without any real problems or counter push back there from Fnatic.
But look how strong Svenskeren actually is. He has Banshee, Sunfire, and he has some damage. If he's able to get onto Rekkles, he's actually being able to kill him. We've seen it before also in this game. So he's more or less playing the right role and the good Svenskeren we talked about in the pre-game we need to see.
And, well, that is an aggressive position from Svenskeren right up against the wall. And SK looking to maybe get in here and do some damage onto the tower. The equalizer goes down, and I have to say, that is pretty much a wasted ultimate at this point.
I don't even think he hit the minion wave on it. He tried to get Jesiz and then he could jump on him and maybe knock him up and kill him before he could Sonya's. But it simply didn't work, and now the Rumble ultimate is gone. Freddy will constantly push in this mid lane, and SK could even just group up as 5, go for this turret, and then take the fight if Fnatic wanna go for it.
See the lantern put out at the front there, so if Candy Panda gets in position to do a couple of turret hits, then he can get back into it as well, and there we go. Turret starts to be pushed down as Cyanide tries to dive in there. Salt and Battery going onto him, he does ulti, but that's really only to get away. He's not done anything with that ultimate, and that is bad news as Candy Panda pushes forward, starts doing in the damage. They're going to be able to take down Lulu, but that's only one man down. They get the inhibitor, and it's a smash and grab here from SK. They've taken the bottom inhib. They may just tank up this middle turret as well, or will they? I think they're a little bit wary of that one as well. I mean, Freddy at this point can tank those turrets up, but still risky.
Yeah, but once again, the very squishy combo from Fnatic are not able to do anything, because as soon as they go in, they have to back out again. See against Cyanide, he goes in, instantly backs out. That's all he can do. He pops his ultimate, spins out, and he's almost died for it. YellOwStaR ended up dying for it, and all in all, the combo from Fnatic, the shields, and the fact that Candy Panda simply cannot die right here, is gonna be so hard for Fnatic to deal with.
Top lane, I suppose as a bonus for Fnatic right now, has pushed all the way back to the inner turret. But SK going to be taking all their buffs away. Red buff for Candy Panda, blue buff for Jesiz. And the Wraiths and everything pretty much from that jungle are going to go back with it. And it's just a matter of time here before SK return to put the pressure down on that top side of the map. I'm guessing that they got quite a lot of gold to spend right now as well on their shopping spree home. So we'll be seeing even more items. Yeah, look at that. Pretty much all of them over 2,000 gold to spend.
And hopefully we just see SK going straight for this top lane now, because the wave will push in with the super minions. They can just go up there, force the entire Fnatic team to move up to try and defend for the last turret, and then take the fight, because they are so strong, they're so far ahead. And Candy Panda, again, we have talked about him, he's only 1-3-5, but the fact that they have to kill him takes so much attention from Fnatic. And then it just leaves Jesiz to stand there, it leaves Svenskeren and leaves Freddy to just do all the damage in the fights and pick up targets. It was actually Jesiz taking down YellOwStaR in the last one, so he's also doing a very nice job.
And a couple of big items did come in when they did go back to shop there. Banshee's Veil coming out for nRated on Thresh. There's a Haunting guys being added into the mix of things as well for them. Black Cleaver for Svenskeren, Bloodthirster for Candy Panda. Another big jump in items for SK Gaming as they do start to finally push that wave in the top lane back. And they're going to be knocking on that inhibited turret with 1 minute to go until the next Baron spawns.
And Fnatic, they more or less just have to try and all in this team fight, try and get a kill. But who are they actually going to take down? Because the Sonya's on Jesiz, this kind of removes him from being the target, unless they can manage to get some CC on him and then kill him and do that CC.
FNC actually going forward in that one. Wasn't sure if he was going to follow through, but they need Cyanide to get in there and really start that one off and get a wild growth onto him to get a second knock up there onto the SK team. But at this point, we've seen it before, those Banshee's Veil stopping a lot of that from happening. Clearing out wall to your left and right, but SK already starting to go in. There is Cyanide though diving in. They're going to go for it this time. Candy Panda actually down to less than half HP, but they've not been able to go all the way through. They did get one kill on towards Svenskeren, but is that enough? Oh. There's a shockwave, gets YellOwStaR and Rekkles. Rekkles did flash away from it, but they're going to lose the tower. sOAZ is critically low here as well. It was a 2 for 2, but they still have a lot of damage up front here to take down that final inhib. There is xPeke diving in once again. They've hooked him up. Can they finish him? The Ignite ticking away. Should be enough from this one. No! He dashes off to the fountain, gets that last second heal, but the inhibs are all gone.
They got the inhib, and they were actually fighting the entire team fight under the turret. It was a perfect engage by Fnatic though. They got in, hit the Cyclone onto Candy Panda and got a lot of damage on him early, but he managed to get out of the CC and probably split of the Rune King to heal back. And then from there on, SK could start picking up the kills they need. Due to the tower though, and due to Rekkles being able to take down Svenskeren, they actually traded even, except for the inhib also going down in favor of SK.
Another couple of items coming in with a Guardian Angel now for Freddy. If he wasn't tanky enough and hard to kill before, then he's going to be doubly that at this point. Jesiz also getting that Leandra's Torment finished off as well. So with no inhibitors up, this is just pure pressure now from SK. Fnatic can only defend. There's a Baron which SK will take for free at this point in the game.
And SK can just wait to move in together with the 3 waves of super minions, making it even harder for Fnatic to do anything, because the super minions, first of all, they will kill your turrets, the Nexus turrets, really, really fast if they get the chance. But they also do quite a lot of damage to players. So if you fight in between them, it's going to be very hard for Fnatic to do anything. So the trick for them is trying to shove out the wave and then hope that SK moves in too far, a bit too far, and then try a hard engage, just like we saw before, hit the Cyclone on multiple people and try and pick up a target.
Well, there is the push from SK now with Baron buff on. As I said, a freebie for them on this second spawn into the game. And they're just going to push straight up this middle lane. We've got super minions coming in on the top side of things. That mid lane has had its inhibitor respawning in there, so something for SK to actually take down before they move forward. Actually, we're going to see the talisman pop there, but Fnatic pretty much just running around in circles from that one. A Cyanide down to half HP already. There is the inhibitor going down. Freddy finishes that one off, and they focus a lot of damage onto Freddy because he was at the front.
Yeah, but all the poke the SK did to Cyanide meant he couldn't engage because he was too low. Oh, they're going on Peke.
Yeah, they're going very deep with that Assault and Battery, but look at the damage just from Svenskeren alone. That's going to force him to go back and heal things up. Cyanide is going to go low. He does get his ultimate off in there, but he's popped by Candy Panda, and now SK are closing in. One Nexus turret's already down. The second going to be picked off as well. Fnatic backing away, and this will be a victory for SK Gaming over Fnatic. And the story in this one, not only a fantastic win for SK, but Fnatic continue on that trend of losing 4 games in a row right now, and that was a bitter one for them to swallow.
This was such a messy game. Fnatic, they got 4-0 in the start. We were talking about, oh, they're so aggressive, everything is working out for Fnatic, and then they just kind of drop it on the floor. SK picks up the kills they need to pick up turrets and also get the dragon, and suddenly they were ahead. And then teamfight-wise, SK was just a lot stronger than Fnatic, mainly also due to the builds and due to the fact that Vayne and Orianna late game, that is an insane combo. So they simply managed to just win every single teamfight.
And it's interesting because of that start for Fnatic, you know, the point where you almost look at it and think, okay, that was just 3 kills, turret, blue buff stolen away. That's the kind of opportunity you need to win a game. You know, that is the possible defining moment in some games that we see, but we saw then Peke got caught out.